Hey you guys, it's Sarah here. Welcome to my channel. I'm so excited. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make this amazing castle activity page. I think it is so cute and I'm so happy with how it turned out. So it's a little castle and you got to check out what's inside the castle. It's a dragon and you can flap its wings. Its wings are not glued together, so little kids can flap its wings and it can fly around. And I include it on this cord so that it doesn't get lost, so little kids can pull the cord from the bottom and the dragon goes back into the castle. And then I also have a sword so they can fight the dragon with the sword. I think it's great. That's what the back looks like. So I'm going to show you how to make that. I do have this template available exclusively to my Patreon subscribers. So I'm going to show you what you get on my Patreon and what it looks like if you subscribe. It is for creating these templates in bulk. They're the exact same templates that I use for my cutting machine. So if you want to create these in bulk and sell them like I do, I provide the templates that I use, and I just want to show you how it's set up. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Let's get started. Okay, so this is what it will look like when you go to my Patreon. You will see all these different templates for different activities that I've posted. Here's what the template looks like for the castle activity page. I tried my best to kind of build it so that you're cutting out 8 pieces at a time. So when you do this cut, you need to cut one of these templates in black. That will give you enough for 8 sets of pages for the doors and the windows. You can cut one of these blue ones, just one. That will give you even more than 8 sets. It gives you 12, so you can keep those left over for next time. You have to cut one of these per page, so this will be the cutout for the sword and the castle. So you're going to do 8 of those cuts. Here's a bunch of dragon wings and the belly pieces. How much do you get here? 3, 6, 9, 12. You get 15 sets there, so you can work on the 8 and then save the other save the other 7 for later. Here's the sword cuts. Those cut out 8 sets, so you just need to do one of those cuts. Here's the little yellow flags. You only use 3 of them in one activity page, and you get, oh gosh, how many sets? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. You get 18 sets in that. So again, you use 8 sets at a time. I use 8 sets at a time, and then I save the rest for the next time I'm doing another 8 sets. And so in that next time when you do another 8 sets, you don't have to go ahead and cut this out again. You'll already have them. Same with the dragon wings. You're going to already have a bunch left over. And then here are the dragon copies. Doing this one cut will give you enough for 3 dragons. So you'll have to do 3 cuts of this dragon template here, and that will give you 9 dragon sets. And this is what it looks like. So when you click through, if you're not subscribed to my Patreon already, this is what it will look like. You click through, and you can't really see this in the video, but in the caption of each photo, I tell you what color to print it in. So this one says brown sword handles, and I tell you what size to adjust it to once you save it and upload it to your cutting machine, because you'll have to click and drag to adjust the size. It won't necessarily upload in the correct size that is needed to fit with all the other pieces. So I tell you in both centimeters and inches how big to adjust it to. And all of it is based on the assumption that you're using a 12-inch by 12-inch cutting space. That seems to be the pretty standard size for cutting mats, regardless of what type of cutting machine that you're using. And again, so as you scroll through, you see all of them in black and white. I've already gone ahead and cut out all my pieces, and I will show you how to put it together. Let's get started. I have all of my pieces for one set out here, and as always, I'm using an 8-inch by 8-inch sheet of felt. I'm using a light blue 1.2 millimeter thick Korean stiff felt. I have this available on my website to purchase if you'd like. I get it in bulk from Korea, and then I cut it down to size. So if you'd like it in the 8-inch by 8-inch size, you can get that on my website. And then quick tip, if you're like me and you're making these in bulk, I have all my pieces in a baggie, all my small pieces, and then I have all my other pieces in a little basket here so I don't lose them as I'm going along. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my big castle piece all by itself, and I'm just going to put 2 stitches. I'm going to sew 2 stitches down the sides. The only reason I'm doing that is for appearance, just so that when the page is put together, this looks like it is kind of two towers with the castle piece in the middle. It's not totally necessary. It doesn't actually serve any purpose other than just making it look, giving it a certain look. I also tried just drawing on with a marker the two things, but I like how it looks better with the stitch. So I'm going to sew 2 strips right there. So that's how it looks like. You don't even have to go all the way down because it's going to be covered by this next castle piece, but that's what it looks like when you've done it. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to use 2 clips to hold this castle piece in place. I'm not going to bother sewing it onto the page, not right now anyways, because once I'm finished and I'm sewing on the back piece of this page, I'm going to be sewing around the whole border, and at that point, when I'm doing that stitch anyways, so it'll sew that on. So I'll save myself some time right now. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a white piece of suede cord, and I'm going to hot glue that in between 2 copies of my dragon, and I'm going to hot glue the whole dragon's body together except for the wings. I want to leave the wings unglued so that the child can flap the dragon's wings while it's flying in the air. So I'm going to go ahead and hot glue that. Okay, that's what it should look like so far. And then I'm going to hot glue on the outside of the wings, these 2 orange pieces there. This will be a double-sided dragon, so I'm going to have the details on both sides. And then there's also a little orange piece for the dragon's belly. You can hot glue that on as well. And that's what your dragon should look like, and its wings can flap, which is really fun. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck this suede cord in behind my whole castle because I want the child to be able to pull the string from the bottom and kind of pull the dragon down into the castle, and then the dragon can emerge and fly and the child has to fight it with a sword. So I'm going to cut the suede cord, not too long, but long enough that the child can make the dragon fly around, maybe about this distance. And then these little circles here, I'm going to hot glue my suede cord, the other end of the suede cord, in between these 2 little red circles. There is no template for these red circles, so you can just cut out like a square or a circle by freehand, or you can do what I do. These little red circles are just the leftover circles from my apple and worm page. Let me show you. Here's my little apple and worm activity page that I do. So when I cut out those circles, I save them, and this is what I use them for, or at least one of the things I use them for. And then I'm going to do the same type of thing with the sword. I'm going to hot glue some suede cord in between the 2 layers of the gray sword. And then I'm going to hot glue on the 2 layers of the brown sword handle on both sides of the sword. With the other end of the suede cord for the sword, I'm going to hot glue it to just the back side of the page. I'm going to apply some hot glue here, and then I'm going to attach the back of the page. Let me show you what I like to do for that. If you're new to my channel, this is how I put busy books together. I just take another piece of 8" by 8" sheet of felt, and I usually wrap it in a really cute fabric just for fun. I did not have any castle themed or dragon themed fabric, unfortunately, but I have this cute fabric, which is kind of nice because then the child can bring the dragon to the other side and make it look like it's flying in the air. But I take my other sheet of felt, optional to wrap it in fabric, and I'm gonna just apply a bunch more hot glue on this suede cord, and then I'm gonna put that onto the back side of the page. And what that will do is it will keep the sword attached to the page so that it doesn't get lost, and the child can just kind of tuck it in behind the castle or tuck it inside the castle where the dragon is, just to keep it from getting lost. But if you're not concerned about losing pieces and you just want to have the sword totally detachable, that's great too. You don't have to worry about the suede cord. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 3mm thick felt binding piece that I just cut by freehand using my scallop edge scissors to give it that cute little edge. I'm going to put it in between that front and back sheet of felt. I'm going to sew around this whole border. The only thing I need to be careful of is at the bottom here, I don't want to sew this, the dragon suede cord. I don't want to sew over that, so I need to leave a little gap here. So here's what that looks like with it all sewn. Oh, I just need to cut that little thread there, and I'll cut it on the other side off. That's the little gap that I left at the bottom. And so you can see that I sewed right over the suede cord that I had hot glued in behind the page. I sewed right over it as well. So that's attached, and then now the child can pull that dragon in and out of the castle. They can spread the dragon's wings and make him fly around. And then if they flip the page over, it is kind of cute because now it looks like the dragon is flying through the sky. And finally, we're just gonna hot glue on all the final details of the castle. So I'm gonna start with this blue roof. I'm gonna hot glue that down. I have these 3 little yellow flags. I'm gonna just carefully hot glue them behind the middle parts of the castle here. And we have these 2 doors, so I'm going to hot glue around the door here and place them on. Actually, sorry, you don't want to put hot glue along the top. You just want to put the hot glue on the sides. Ah, I messed that up. You want to just put hot glue along the sides, not at the top, because you want the door to be able to open. Last but not least, I'm going to hot glue on some windows all over the castle. And there we have the completed castle, dragon, sword, awesome activity page. It's so cute. I love how this one turned out. Oh, the only other thing I need to do is just get my handy dandy hole punch 2 holes in this binding piece, and that is how I connect my pages together, just using little binder rings to connect different pages and form a custom busy book at craft shows. This page costs about $5 in materials, and it takes me about 15 to 20 minutes to cut and assemble this page. Now keep in mind, I am cutting the pieces in bulk on my Cricut, so I cut enough for about 8 pages all at once, and then I assemble them. So if you're cutting these just one at a time by hand, it's going to take you much longer, but using the template that I have on my Patreon, that's exactly what I use, and that is how long it takes me to do this page. Okay, hope that helps you guys. Hope you enjoy making this one, and I will see you in the next video.